Some people walk into a room and everyone stops talking. Other people walk in and everyone just keeps scrolling like they're a piece of furniture. You can probably remember the last time it happened to you. You're mid-sentence and someone just starts talking like you weren't even there. So what are they doing that makes people actually listen? And what are you doing that makes people completely tune out? I was the second person for years. Then I figured out the one thing I was doing that basically told everyone, hey, you can treat this guy however you want. The second I stopped doing it, those same people who used to talk over me, they actually started asking for my opinion. So what was it? I was way too available, like answering texts in 30 seconds like I'm some kind of customer service bot, dropping everything whenever anyone needed something, explaining every single choice I made like I'm on trial or something. I thought being super helpful would make people respect me, but what it actually did was teach everyone around me that my time was worth nothing and their convenience was worth everything. So I changed three things, and I'm telling you right now, one of these is probably killing your credibility, and you don't even know it's happening. Okay, so when someone disrespects you, most people do one of two things. They either completely blow up and look totally unhinged, or they just stay quiet and hope the person magically figures it out on their own. Both of those tell everyone the same thing. You don't actually know where your boundaries are? Here's what you do instead. You look right at them and you say in the most calm, bored voice you can pull off, "That was disrespectful." That's it. No yelling, no explaining why. Just say it and then stop talking. You're not asking them to apologize. You're just letting them know they crossed a line they didn't even know was there. Now they know. Everyone who heard it knows. And if they do it again, they can't pretend they didn't realize. Real example from my life. I had this friend who kept making jokes about my job whenever we'd go out to dinner with people. Everyone would laugh. This went on for months. One night he does it again, and I just looked at him and said, "That's disrespectful. Don't do it again." And then I just went completely silent. The entire table went quiet, like you could hear people chewing their food. He hasn't done it since then. And if you've ever been made the punchline like that, go ahead and hit the like button because we're about to make sure that never happens to you again. But here's the thing though, calling out disrespect one time only works if you're not constantly available to get disrespected in the first place. Which brings us to the second thing. You need to stop being immediately available for anything. Someone texts you, wait at least 2 hours before you respond. Even if you saw it the second it came in. Someone calls you. Let it ring out. Call them back when you actually feel like it. Someone asks you to do them a favor. Never say yes right away. Always say, let me check my calendar and I'll get back to you. And here's the part that's going to feel super weird at first. Don't explain why you took so long. Don't apologize for taking your time. Just respond like the delay was completely normal. Because here's what I figured out. I used to answer absolutely everything instantly. Every text, every call, every request. I thought it made me reliable or whatever. But what it actually did was train every single person in my life that I had nothing better going on than to just serve them. Then I started making people wait. And within like 2 weeks, people stopped just assuming I was always free. They started actually asking, hey, are you free right now? Instead of just demanding my time like they owned it or something. My time suddenly looked valuable. Not because I told anyone it was, but because I stopped acting like it was completely worthless. But here's what nobody tells you. You can set boundaries and make people wait all day, but there's one thing you're probably doing right now that makes both of those backfire completely. Defending yourself. You got to stop explaining your choices. Stop turning into a lawyer presenting a case every time someone questions you about something. You know what actually confident people do when someone says, "Are you sure about that?" They just say, "Yep," and then they move on with their day. That's literally it. They don't need you to agree with them because they already made their decision. This was my biggest problem for years. Someone would question literally anything I said, and I'd go into this like 10-minute explanation listing everything I researched. Now? Yep, I'm sure. Then I just stopped talking. Conversation's over. And the weird part is, the less I explained myself, the more people actually trusted what I was saying. Because real confidence doesn't defend itself. It doesn't need to. It just exists. Every single time you defend yourself, you're basically showing everyone listening that you need their approval before you can feel confident about your own choices. And trust me, they can see it, and it makes them trust you way less. So here's what these three things actually do together. They teach people that there are real consequences for how they treat you. Not like angry consequences or dramatic stuff, just simple ones. You call out disrespect, and then you're not available. You don't defend yourself, so there's nothing for them to argue about. People figure out pretty quick that if they want access to your time and your attention, they need to treat it like it actually matters. The second you start acting like someone who deserves respect, people start giving you respect. Not because they suddenly like you more or anything, but because you made it really clear what happens if they don't. 6 months from now, you'll remember watching this. Will you remember trying it or just watching? If none of these apply to you, you're either lying or already respected. Which is it? Two playlists just appeared on your screen. The people who ignore them are the same ones who'll be back here in 6 months with the same problems. Subscribe so you remember to finish what you started.